I met Dan sometime around 2000, roughly 2000.
We first met, I don't know the year, in the 1980s, I think, the late 80s, Portland chapter.
I started working with Dan in February of 2003.
I met Dan Rodriguez when I was a freshman at the University of Oregon.
Dan hired me in 1988 as Assistant Alumni Director after what seemed like a never-ending interview process, something I'd never experienced before.
1988, we interviewed numerous people and we ended up with two candidates, and the first candidate was a quiet introvert, and the other was a kind of a fireball, enthusiastic, buoyant personality type. We chose the fireball, enthusiastic, buoyant personality, Dan Rodriguez.
When you think about Dan, the top things that come to mind are infectious personality. There are people who are glass half full, there are people who are glass half empty. Dan is a kind of cup runneth over guy. He needs a bigger cup, it's so full.
I have so many memories of working with you, and it's thinking back with our relationship. I have my working with you with the Alumni Association, but then on the personal side, your connection with my entire family is what is so special to me as well. But working with you, my memories are that you were always up, always raring to go, always positive, regardless of the situation.
I admire Dan's energy. I admire Dan's enthusiasm. I admire that he is a team player.
What comes to mind for me when I think about Dan is the love that he has for his family, his two kids and his wife, the pride that he has for the work that he has done in his service, and his enduring affection for the University of Oregon.
He loves people. He loves all people that he's seemingly ever met, and he knows them all. He never forgets any of them. And third is sort of a can-do attitude. Dan just wants to get things done to make things great for everyone around him, and we've all been a huge beneficiary of that over the years.
Volunteering is part of Dan's DNA. Dan, I know how much you give back to your own alumni organizations. And you directed me to launch alumni chapters around the country that exploded with activity and involvement. You recruited alumni leaders for the board, and you let them lead.
We went to tailgates, away games, 50th reunions. We hosted all of those. We used to go up to the president's house for the 50th reunion reception. And it was wonderful being able to work for Dan, and everybody loved Dan. Everybody wanted to see Dan. The registration table at a tailgate party or at a football game, I'd be trying to check them in, and they'd be going, "Where's Dan? Where's Dan? I want to see Dan." It's like, let's get you checked in first.
One thing I would like to say is, like any of the awards, I think we would be remiss if we didn't recognize that Carol, Dan's wife, shares in this award.
Nobody does everything on their own, and Carol may be somewhat quiet in standing behind Dan, but those of us who know Carol and know Dan know that she's been as an important part of the journey as he has, and so I'd like to at least offer my personal thanks, and perhaps on behalf of a lot of people, thanks to Carol.
I'm just really proud of you, Dan, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life. You're just part of my family, and you just mean the world to me. With that, a hearty congratulations, and thank you for your years of service to the University of Oregon.
Dan, congratulations on your award. You truly deserve it. We very much appreciate all the time and effort that you put into making the U of O Alumni Association the organization that it is. We look forward to spending time with you and Carol in the future. Thank you.
Dan, you know how much I love you, and I just can't think of anyone who has earned this Jeanne Johnson Award more than you. You've given it to many who have served, and it is such a wonderful completion of the circle to have you now receive it. Congratulations.
So I say to all of you here tonight, please stay or get involved. Dan built a progressive, innovative organization. And Rafe and his well-oiled machine, it seems, is just pushing that on forward. So Dan, I am blessed to call you colleague, chief, mentor, and friend. Congratulations, and as always, go Ducks!